All right, you guys. Welcome to our Tuesday night Q&A.
Hello, guys.
We didn't get a lot of questions, so if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. Um, for our platinum coaching students, we are going to Baltimore on Saturday. We're going to Baltimore on Saturday. If you are interested in joining our platinum coaching program, contact me or contact Keith, and we'd love to talk to you, invite you for a freebie. We're giving away a freebie this Saturday. If you want to shadow us, if you're interested in learning more about investing in Baltimore, we'll be in Baltimore at 10 o'clock. We'll go see about 3, maybe 4 properties. And so if you're interested in that, contact one of us, and you'll be along with our platinum coaching students. So, Keith, you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes. Thanks, Greg. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys had a good day. So, Greg, here's the first question coming from Kim. Kim says she's finding that some properties for lease, they both have a listing agent and a property management company. So what is the preferred first point of contact for investors?
So so she's probably looking at an MLS listing. And so on that listing, it'll tell you who the point of contact is. So, but it's probably the agent. The property management is just following the instructions of the agent and the homeowner. So it's probably the agent. And so what she should be doing is letting them know that she wants to rent the property out. And if she wants to sublet it out, she's got to let them know when she initially calls that she's either looked at it already or want to look at it, but just first want to make sure that they'll accept a sublease. And if it's going to be a corporate lease, like if she wants to rent out to travel nurses or travel professionals, let them know that. One thing that they're going to want to check is her credentials, like her credit score. And so let's make sure that you've got a high enough credit score. I'll say 680. But if not, what she could also do is say that this is a corporate lease. This is what we do, and then try to provide either a landing page showing that I have a business doing this, where I lease out to travel professionals or whomever, veterans, whomever you do that with. So you look nice and professional. And you could show, like for me, I could show that our brokers does this. We lease out, and I can show them like our EIN number and whatever else that they want, versus a social security number to run my credit.
Okay. Great. I've got maybe this is a tag along question. Kim also asked, she says she's run into situations where the listing agent or has an assistant that's skeptical of investors and blocks access to the listing agent. Should we just move on from that, she's asking, or be persistent?
I would say never. Yeah, be persistent. So there's many ways to get a hold of the agent. Their information is right in the MLS. You can call them, you can text them, you can email them. But make sure that you know what you're saying. Have your script ready so that they are not persistent. Now, I did mention website. You don't have to have a website. You could just say that you want to sublet out the property, and they're gonna say, okay, fill out an application, a rental application, and you just got to fill that out. So one thing I'm going to be looking for this Saturday when we go out are properties that I can either purchase or rent with an option to buy, with also an option to sublet. And so I'm ready. I'm prepared to go ahead and we've looked at a few properties over the last, I'll say, month. And so I'm ready to just go ahead and pull the trigger on one. And so If you guys are available, you can shadow us. This is for our platinum coaching students where we take them out once a month. But if you haven't gone out, if you haven't seen like a midterm rental or short-term rental, we'll be on the hunt for them on Saturday, especially if you're interested in some coaching. We'd love to have you guys out on Saturday. But that's what you do, Kim. You do everything you can to get a hold of the agent. It's not hard. Like I said, you can call them, text them, email them, and then just let them know that this is what you do. You'd like to lease out for 5 years, 2 to 5 years. You have a lot of experience doing this. You run out to travel professionals, and then you just kind of move on from there.
So, Greg, you're knocking these out the park. She has one more question, and maybe this is just a quick recap of what you just said. She has another question that says, in your initial conversation with the listing agent or an owner, how much of your intention should you disclose? And then she lists that you're a real estate investor, you're interested in possibly giving the client the full asking price for rent. You bring up traveling medical professionals and your intent to enter a contract with that client for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, you disclose all that because you don't want to waste your time. I was on a call with Alice about a month ago or a few weeks ago, and she had initially talked to the agent, and things were looking good. And she brought me on, I think, the second or third call, and I said, so I just want to be clear, you're good with the a subleasing the property. He said, I didn't know this was you guys were subleasing. My seller is not doesn't want to do that. I had assumed that Alice had already talked about it, but she hadn't. And so you don't want to waste your time. Let them know what your intentions are. Be totally transparent. Talk about the benefits to them for you doing this if this is what you want to do. So the obvious benefits are they're going to get a long-term tenant. They're going to get their rent paid and paid on time because you're setting yourself up, as a corporate rental client, and you're going to make sure that everything with the house is going to get taken care of. Versus a market tenant or voucher holder that could be in a property, for 6 months, a year, whatever that looks like. And so you want to talk about the benefits of why they should do this versus just doing a market rate tenant, that you'll be there for the long term. Now, a step further would be if you're calling rentals, you want to have a lease with an option to sublet and a lease with an option to buy, so that in 2 to 5 years, you have an option to buy that property.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. Hey, here's another question comes from Xavier. Marketing and marketing the fact that you're looking for these opportunities, or maybe just a regular wholesale opportunity or buy and hold. When it comes to marketing, Greg, through your career, or let's just say in the last 5 years, what are some of the best slam dunks for getting in front of people or marketing yourself that you see the top investors doing?
In no particular order, I see cold calling. So calling a list. So making those phone calls, calling a certain list. And I guess the best list would be absentee owners, getting a list of people who have no mortgages on the property, own the properties free and clear. Foreclosures is always pre-foreclosures is always a good list. Getting a list of probate is always a good list. And so those lists, calling them, sending postcards to them, maybe even texting them, ringless voicemail. So taking that list and doing all those things is probably the best ways. And then you've got social media is also good. In order to find properties, I would also say that, especially if you're talking about Baltimore, I would say auctions are good.
Yeah.
So auctions are a great way to find. A lot of our coaching students over the years, when I think back over the years, they've found properties on the auction, because they're on. If you go certain auction sites, they're auctioning off properties every single day. And so I would say that the ones I just mentioned, are the best. But then you have driving for dollars. You can do that. We talk a lot about that, driving for dollars. What else comes to mind? All right, I think that's it. I think those bandit signs, you can talk, bandit signs. But I would say, like, driving for dollars, bandit signs, those are sort of on the lower tier. I think that making the phone calls and or postcards are really good. Getting a list of pre-foreclosures is really good. And then I will mention SEO, SEO, social media, Google AdWords. Those are also really, really good.
Yeah, I also know you mentioned with respect to lists, expired listings, properties that have been on the market for a long period of time. Those are also good as well.
Absolutely.
But you may have an investor, Greg, that they're hearing you, and they're still like, well, what should I do first? For someone that has a cloudy mind, or they're overthinking, what would you recommend to that person as far as getting started with their marketing?
So I would recommend either getting a mentor, because it is cloudy, and you think about it in your life, the things that you know the best, you've got training on. You went to school and you got training. After high school, maybe you went to college, maybe you went to a specialty school to learn a certain trade. For me, I went and got my real estate license. And so you've got to get trained. And people think that they can do it on their own by looking at YouTube videos, reading books, things like that.
Yes.
But I think it's being a part of a community of like-minded people. It's an old cliche, but it just definitely works. Being around people who want to be like you, great people. They say iron sharpens iron. So you've got to be around the people who are doing what you want to do. Having a mentor, having a coach. We have a number of different programs that you can learn from. Part of Saturday's exercise is part of our coaching program, where we take them out. So not only do we teach in sort of in the manner that we're teaching now, but we teach our coaching students, but then also we go out in the field and answer all the questions, let them see properties. Why should we buy this property? Why shouldn't we buy this property? We look at different neighborhoods. Saturday will be in what we call a B neighborhood, as compared to A neighborhoods, as compared to D neighborhoods. And so that's how you get going. And so we've had a lot of success with our coaching students in our program. And it's because we teach both classroom style. We've got a lot of digital products that they learn from. They have their own platform, which is called Coach Accountable, where they have all the resources that they need, like all the forms and everything like that. And these forms have been vetted by our attorneys. So all the different types of contracts that you need, from in the creative financing realm, seller financing forms, subject to forms, lease option forms. And so we have all of those forms, purchase and sales agreement, assignment agreements. And so just kind of being part of a coaching program, I'm part of a mastermind now where I pay a lot of money to be part of the mastermind, but it's just well worth it because I'm around those same kind of people that I just talked about. I just came back from a meeting last week. Last week I was in Florida, and so that's how you get started. That's a long answer, but just kind of committing mentally, and then just doing everything you can to be around all the right people that's going to help guide you. Do you have to spend a little bit of money? Yeah, but it's just well worth it. And then taking action, and then that's the other thing. You can't overthink it. You got to take action. Like I just said, I know I'm gonna I'm gonna put a property under contract next. Well, I'll look at it Saturday, but hopefully next week, this time next week, I know with every confidence that I'll have a property. I mean, that's my goal, is to have a property by this time next week. But it took me a while to get here to have the confidence to know that I'm gonna go out and either buy a property, do a lease option, whatever that opportunity calls for. I know, and so you need to get to the point where you have all the confidence in the world that if you see something, you're going to hop on it because you've been trained to do it, or you've got a mentor that's going to walk you through. And does that cost money? I just mentioned it does. But so my thinking was last year was a rough year in the real estate industry, for me and my brokerage in particular, rough year. And so I thought to myself towards the end of the summer last year, what do I need to do to increase revenue? And an opportunity just kind of came about to join this mastermind. And it was expensive. Being totally transparent, it was $18,000. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be around all the right people. That's going to transform my thinking. That's going to help me get to where I want to go. And that was around August, September. I said, I'm going to pull the trigger. And I did it. And probably by August, September of this year, I would have probably increased. I'll be on the path of increasing my revenue by at least 100,000, hopefully, prayerfully, $100,000 a month, just by joining that mastermind. So if that works out, I've increased my revenue by $100,000 a month, and I'm only spending $1,500 for that education. $1,500 a month, $18,000 a year. And so I just say all that to say sometimes you do have to spend. Now, we don't charge anything like that, of course, but you've got to be around. You got to get that education. You go to college. I went to college to get the education, and so and college is not free, and so but we do that to better our lives, and so you've got to do that as well to better your life and get everything you can out of it, and we'll help you. My answer is so long, I don't even remember the question.
No, it's just about that, maybe that new investor out there that's hearing you about the different ways to market. How do they get started? What's the one thing that they can do first? And I think because we got to do something. We got to take action. Maybe that action is maybe getting some business cards and then getting a list and making calls. And one other thing about the marketing, Greg, that you did not mention, but I know you really believe in is that follow-up. You got to follow, whatever that marketing is that you're going to do, the fortune is in the follow-up, as you like to say, Greg. You got to, because most of the time that's when the deal is going to get done. It's not going to get done on that first or second call.
Yeah. Some great person told me that the fortune is in the follow-up.
You know, Greg, I also heard something the other day, ironically, that everyone should be in some sort of mastermind.
Right. I agree, because that's how you better yourself. Like, seriously. And it's clichéic, but it's true. Like, you've got to be in a mastermind. If you want to get to the next level, you've got to be with the people who are already at that level. When I went to that mastermind last week, there was a guy in our mastermind that's flipping 30 to 50 properties a month. And then I just started I just started following this one guy that does co-living, Sam Weber or something like that. He specializes in co-living. And I look up, I get an email from my mastermind. He just joined our mastermind. He's going to speak to us this Thursday. And so, like, the best, and he's got, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 luxury co-living spaces. If you guys don't know what co-living is, you just go ahead and just Google it, co-living. He's like the guru of it, Sam. And now, he's in the mastermind. He'll speak Thursday, and then I'll see him in Tampa on next month. And so, like I say, and I've said it already, iron sharpens iron. Like, you want to be around people to get you to the next level. You're not going to get to the next level or get to where you want to be just being around the people that you're with now. And again, you've heard that before. This is no new revelation, but it's just true. And so that's what you've got to do. And so, in order to get started, I think that was the initial question.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get started, that's what you've got to do. You've got to come to meetings like this. You've got to either join a coaching program or a mastermind, and then you've got to take action with guidance so that you don't make mistakes. In the real estate investing realm, there's lots of mistakes that could happen. People make mistakes when they try to do it on their own. Some of them fail, lose money, and never get back into it. You don't want that to be you. And so that's how you get started. And then also, someone once asked me, what should I be doing now? What should I be doing now as far as a real estate investor? And I told them, it's get your finances together. Just focus on your finances so that you can get lines of credit, you can get approved for different types of financing, that kind of thing. And so that's what you guys need to do. And so Toby's asking the question, what does he need to do to take action right now? And I would say to Toby, he doesn't really need to do anything. Toby is just like really doing well. And I do believe, Toby, that you like me, you're going to get a property hopefully within the next week, because you're definitely taking action. Like, if you just stay consistent with what you're doing, and I know you already are, the opportunity is going to present itself. And maybe it's this weekend. You might find the property that I'm looking for, and you can wholesale it to me if you don't want to buy it yourself.
Yeah, I think Toby does a good job. I've spoken to Toby, not to tell of his business, but he just needs to amp up that the number of calls that he's making. He's very good on the phone making the calls. He's not afraid to make the calls. He knows what to say, but just increasing that number. So maybe instead of 20, Toby, on a given night, maybe it's 40 calls that you make. Maybe it's 50. I know Greg used to tell the story about getting off of a day of work, going home and making 80 calls.
Right.
But so Toby, I think is just amping up the numbers, and that goes for everyone. If you, whatever it is that you're doing marketing wise, because Toby, and I see your question, should you be doing wholesaling or midterm? Just get an opportunity first with that customer, that client. Set the appointment, and then you can maybe work with us, work with Greg to see what is the best strategy now that I have this opportunity.
Right. That answer will come once you find the property. But you just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. All right, Keith, any more questions?
No other questions, Greg. We had some good questions tonight, but no more. Guys, if you have questions, bring them to this call. These Q&A sessions are for you. And no question is too simple or too dumb. Oftentimes these questions, and I'm sure even on this call, some of the questions that were asked help other investors that are on the call that you may not even thought of. So, bring your questions to us so we can answer them.
So Toby's got one last question. His question is, should I call off market or on market for creative deals? I would say both, Toby. Both. Definitely both. But you just keep going, Toby. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. Especially if that on-market property has been on the market for, 30 days or more. There's maybe a higher probability. We know someone's going to pick the phone up. But like we were saying, Toby, I think just get the opportunities. Get those opportunities.
All right, you guys, any other questions? We do have a lunch and learn on Friday where we're going to be talking about passive income, cash flowing properties, the different types of strategies for cash flow, and how to build generational wealth and build up your passive income. And so we would love to see you guys there. The more you guys come out to learn, to ask questions, to network with each other, the better off you'll be. So we have that. And then we have a few other things coming up too, that you guys will be getting emails from throughout this whole month. Almost every month, every week, we'll have something either live or virtual. And so Toby's asking, when will I go over sending offers? Let's do that next week, Keith. Either on the Tuesday Q&A, or on a Thursday, next Thursday. And then Toby, you were in the office, was it yesterday, I think?
Yeah.
Just either call me or you can come back by the office and I'll sit down with you one-on-one. I'll be in the office all day tomorrow. All right, Keith, I think that's it. I don't see any other questions, comments.
No.
You guys just stay active. Just set a goal, and hopefully you guys have set your goal. We're in February already. Set a goal. And one thing I did for the month of February is we set goals for the year. We make New Year's resolutions. I set a goal for February. And so what can I accomplish in the next 30 days that's going to help me reach my ultimate goal by the end of the year? And so throughout this year, I'll be setting 30-day goals every month. What am I going to encounter? Wrote it all down this past weekend. What do I need to do in order to reach my goals? And what do I need to do by the end of this month to achieve my goals? Couple other questions, Keith.
Yeah.
Lori and Scott's asking, is it possible to get financing with a portfolio of properties? And so, yeah, absolutely. And so if you own a portfolio of properties, the lender is just going to look at really the cash flow, but they're going to be looking at your leases and make sure that your leases are at least 70% of your mortgage payment. And so one washes the other off. And so as long as that is what I just described overall, yeah, you can get financing, no problem. And if any further explanation, just call me. So Keith, as far as the platinum coaching students, Toby's asking, when are we going to make the calls again? I think we need to do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've met with most of them basically and told them that they can come at any time during the week. But, we can go back to the Thursday evening and I think Toby makes a good point. I think, when the students are making calls together, there's, maybe a sense of togetherness, and we're doing
Good
this together.
energy, good, yeah.
Right. So, Toby, to ask your question, I will be here Thursday, and that goes for the other students that are on the call, and I'll send out email to that effect as well, and have some lists for you guys.
And then don't forget, you guys, we have a free community, a Bennett Boot Camp's community page that you guys need to join. I'm starting to see a lot more activity on there. People are putting deals on there. You guys need to look at that page and engage. If you're looking for deals, you can go to that page if you want to put your deals on there. We've had the page for a long time with not a lot of activity, but of late, I see a little momentum on that page with deals and questions and successes and things like that. So we want to engage with you. We want to be able to answer your questions 24/7, and so that you don't have to necessarily wait until next Tuesday to ask your questions or call. You can put your questions on our community page, and more than likely one of our investors will get to answer that question before we can even get to it. And so it's just a good idea to put to be a part of that page. It's free. You also get notified of all the events that we're doing, and we're doing a lot every month. And so, yeah, engage on our community page. All right, Keith.
All right.
Hopefully
that's all we got. Let's give everyone. Yeah, we'll give everyone back their half hour, and we'll see them soon. Yeah. Looking forward to this weekend, Greg.
Yep. All right, you guys. And again, if you guys are serious about investing, want to take a good look at our coaching program, we are going to be with our coaching students on Saturday. You guys can come out. Just send me a text message. Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys. Take care.
You guys have a good night and a great week.
All right.
See you soon.
All right. Good night.